What's up YouTube, how are you doing? So today I was going to do a self-portrait photo shoot, so I decided to also record the behind the scenes of it to give you some tips and tricks on how to do a self-portrait photo shoot. I'm using a 120 centimeter softbox with a grid in order to keep the light focused on this part of the wall, so it mostly hits me and not the wall. And this is about the lighting, and I will go through it more. And let me show you the other parts of the setup. I'm using the Sony A7III with my 85mm lens, and here is my setup for this self-portrait photo shoot. I'm using a one light setup, so it's not really complicated. So let's go, and I will tell you some tips, and then we will start the process of this self-portrait photo shoot. So before going in front of the camera, I recommend you to go in front of the mirror and look at your face and try to do some poses in order to see what parts of your face are more beautiful, and to see your mimics of the face in order to see how you look in front of the mirror. And then when you are in front of the camera and in front of the lens, instead of imagining the lens and camera, imagine that picture which you had in your mind in front of the mirror. In this way, you would be more natural in front of the camera, and you won't be stressed how you feel, and your feeling would be much better. So first, go in front of the mirror and try to pose and imagine yourself, have a picture of your face in the mind, and when you are going in front of the camera, have that picture of you in front of the camera and imagine that, so you have a good posing in front of the camera when you are shooting a self-portrait. So let's take a look at the camera settings which I have here. I am using a f6.3. I recommend you to use a higher f number when you are shooting self-portraits, because the more depth of field you have when you move back and forth, you will have more depth of field, and the chance you are in focus would be much higher. So do not go with lower f-stops like f1.8. I would recommend you to go up to f8 or more, so you have a more depth of field. And for the shutter speed, as you see, I'm using 1/160 of a second, because my flash is here is Godox MS300. This is not a high speed sync flash, so I'm using a 100 or 1/160 of a second shutter speed, and my ISO is on the lowest number, which is ISO 50. And the other things which you need to do is to adjust the power of the flash, which we will do in the next step. So as you see right now, the power of the flash is 1/16. You can take a test shot to see how much is the exposure. I'll take a test shot and check the exposure. As you see, it is really dark. The histogram for a white wall should be much higher at the end. So I will increase the exposure here to 1/4, and I will again take a test shot, and you can check it. And as you see, we have a much better exposure for a white wall. You can again a little bit increase it. I will go 1/3 of a stop, and now again I will test. And as you see right now, we have better exposure if you check the histogram. If you do not have a white wall, it's not important. You can go yourself, stay at the front of the camera and take a test shot to see how much is the exposure. If you are not doing this photo shoot in front of the white wall, you should go and stay in front of the camera and check the exposure yourself. Because I'm now right now filming this from the behind the camera, I did the easier way to show you. But if you do not have a white wall, just go stay there and enable the timer and take a test shot to see how much is the exposure. The next step we need to do is to check the focusing. We need to take care of the focusing. So for focusing, again, you have two options. Either you can use manual focus, or you can use the Sony imaging app for the Sony cameras, and use that app in order and use your smartphone to shoot your photos. Either way, for example, for manual focus, you just go and change your focus. You should test it. You should go and check your focus and come to the wall and take a test shot, and to see if it is in focus or not, and change the focus little by little to find that depth of field for the meters you are staying. For example, right now I am around 3 meters from the camera, so I should set the focus to 3 meters. And we have a good option in Sony camera which shows the meters of the focus, which is really nice. And the second way now, which I'm going to use in this video, I'm going to use the Sony imaging app, and I will show you the process how to use the Sony imaging app in order to shoot self-portraits. So in order to connect to the Sony imaging app, you need to go to the settings and go to the tab 3 and page 1, control with a smartphone, and you should turn this on, and then you go to the connection. You will see Wi-Fi standby, the Wi-Fi turns on. Then you go to your smartphone, to the Wi-Fi settings, and you need to find this Wi-Fi as you see here. You should wait for it to come. Then you open the Imaging Edge app, and right now you see the A7III here. I have a ZV-10 and A7III. I will start the A7III. And as you see, we have the camera here. And now I will record the screen and we will start the photo shoot, and I will do a voiceover because I need to remove this microphone from my t-shirt and start the photo shoot process. Now let's go. So shooting self-portrait is a process which takes so much time and patience, and you should be really patient with it. You should take so many photos. I know that it makes you tired and you might be disappointed, but if you have patience and try and do a trial and error, you will get some good shots. As you see here, this is one of my shots after so many takes. I have not shown you all the behind the scenes. It took me more than 1 hour for the full portrait photo shoot, for the full course of this portrait photo shoot. So I've just shortened it, and I'm showing you the photos which I chose. And as you see, these were the photos which I chose. I chose 3 of them. I took more than 70 or 80 shots, and not all of them were good. And as you see, I also tried to differentiate it with bringing a chair. And as you see here, I always try to test different poses. Sit, just do not always sit straight to the camera. Try to sit in different poses. You might find a good pose and you can achieve some really great results. As you see here, and I chose 3 photos in this photo shoot, which you can see. So these were the shots for today's self-portrait photo shoot. I really hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes and you learned something out of it. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. I would be really glad to hear your opinions. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will be seeing you in my future videos.